Welcome to Dropping In, a podcast of storytelling and interviews with your host, Winter Olympian Mercedes Nichol.
I have to say it's nice to hear my mom's voice every now and then. She's not with me right now. She's in Mexico, but thank you so much for dropping in. This is series 15, and this is February 4th, 2026. If you're new to dropping in, thanks for coming. And if you've been listening forever and ever, thank you so much for coming back. Now, this series is about goals. Now, they give us direction, but they also test us. They show up on the good days, and they really matter on the hard days. Goals aren't just about winning medals or hitting milestones. They're about learning how to keep moving forward when motivation dips, plans change, and life can really throw us some curveballs here and there. So in this series, we're going to drop in with athletes, Olympians, change makers, how they unpack goals and how they're set, how they're reset, and sometimes maybe completely rewritten. So let's get ready to laugh, listen, and learn from real experiences. And we're ready to drop in with our next guest. Let me introduce her. Her days juggle writing deadlines, Rocky Mountain hikes, swims, romance novels, and sometimes experimental cake recipes, often while yelling just a few more pages before dinner. Born in Montreal, Quebec, this guest spent years chasing curiosity, backpacking, working, and building a career across 4 continents with a Bachelor's of Commerce, an MBA, and 2 decades in the professional world. Life eventually led her to Calgary, Alberta, where ambition met a new chapter of family, balance, and reinvention. Marriage, kids, and fast-moving life prompted a bold pivot, stepping away from her career to be more present at home. Then came the COVID lockdown, and with it, unexpected space. She decided to try writing and started writing the Back in the Years series. What started as a creative experiment quickly turned into a new calling, with 3 books published and 2 more on the way. At the heart of it all is joy, laughter, storytelling, and time with her husband and 3 kids. This writer, world traveler, business mind, creative risk taker, and proud mom is about to drop in. It's my pleasure to welcome Candace MacPhie. Hi, Candace. How are you?
Wow, I'm like, whew, that was very nice introduction. Thank you.
Well, you've done a lot. It's very cool, and I can't wait to dive into it. But first, we are going to start with the 10-question rapid fire. Are you ready to drop in?
Totally ready.
Okay, really easy one to start off. Where in the world are you today?
Calgary, Alberta.
Calgary, Alberta. Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Number 2, coffee, tea, or something else entirely?
Coffee.
Is that like every morning?
Every morning, coffee. Yes, black coffee. Very boring, but yes, black coffee works for me. And water. I know I'm so boring, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. I don't even drink coffee, so you're not boring at all.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, early bird or night owl?
Oh, I'm going to hit a little bit of the middle of the range. Because when I hit my stride is probably about 3 o'clock to about 9 o'clock at night. That was sort of like my power hours, which unfortunately is the time I have to do stuff. So yeah, that, but that's like that's just when I'm like, whew. So that's my moment. Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree. I think that's a good time for sure.
Well, do you know that they started these clubbing things where they start clubbing at like noon and they go till like 9 o'clock? That's like, I'm like, wow, that's speaking to my soul.
Okay, so well, you must come out to Whistler because we do a good après, and that is pretty much the time frame.
That's my moment. That's when I'm all ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. So number 4, what's one small thing that instantly puts you in a good mood?
Oh, instantly puts me in a good mood. Probably a hug.
Ooh, interesting. Have you always liked hugs?
I've always liked hugs. I'm a hugger. I'm that annoying person who always hugs. And I would say a hug instantly puts me in a good mood. Yeah.
I dig it. I think that is, I didn't like hugs when I was younger, and I've gotten better.
Oh, really?
And we have a mutual,
Oh,
I haven't said this yet, but we have a mutual friend, and she knows well, like she knew me at that time, Stacy, and I didn't like hugs, and I've gotten really good at it. So I really appreciate that answer.
yeah.
Number 5, sweet or salty snacks?
Sweet,
Sweet?
sweet.
Like
Mm.
what kind? Like what kind?
Well, I'm kind of, again, so boring, but I'm kind of jiving with honey on toast right now. It's kind of hitting the spot.
Oh. With
It's
butter
got a
or
little,
no butter?
yeah, no butter, just a little bit of, this a crunch, and then
Yeah.
the honey kind of soaks into the bread, and so it's
Mhm.
kind of a lighter baklava kind of a version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I totally got you. I totally got you. Okay,
I
number
go.
6, go-to way to reset after a long day.
Probably reading. I love reading. I've
Mhm.
always been a reader, and if I've had a really crappy day, I just kind of escape some sort of dark corner with my book because I read on the Kindle, so the light can kind of roll with wherever I am,
Yeah.
and just kind of reset for a little bit. And whether it's a book I'm reading or I go back and read a favorite part of a certain book, that
Oh.
kind of makes me puts me in good mood. Sort of resets.
I like that. I've never thought of going. Okay, wait. How do you know? Do you like? I like the part that you said go back and read part of a book. Do you have it
Yeah.
like flagged or
Yes.
something?
So when you read on a Kindle or any kind of electronic device, if you close the book, it keeps your page. It's like a
Yeah.
bookmark, right?
Yeah.
So I usually keep. There's a couple that I really like, and I just go back, and if it's a scene that's kind of impactful or something that makes me smile, then I go back and read that part of the
I
book.
dig it. I just got a
Yeah.
Kobo. I just got a Kobo, and I'm new to the world, so
Okay, well,
I'm
once you find something, you can go back. You can bookmark it as you go along, and then you can go back and read certain scenes because sometimes, as you're going through, you might think, "Oh, this is quite good," but then
yeah.
at the end of it, you go, "Oh, I missed that," so you go back and read again. Anyways, I kind of jump read, so
I dig
yeah,
it. I dig it. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn more.
yeah.
Number 7, a habit you wish you were better at sticking to.
Oh, okay. Habit. I wish I was better. Probably taking vitamins.
Oh,
Again, I'm so boring. Sorry,
no,
so boring.
not
I'm
boring.
really, I'm really bad at just remembering. I'll just go through the whole day, and then it'll get too late at night, and I think if I take those now, I'm never going to sleep. My stomach's going to be going.
Exactly.
"Rrr." So, yeah, just and probably just in lining up and taking care of myself. Like it's easy to kind of make sure everybody has what they need, but
Mhm.
making sure you have what you need is not always something that I do. So I would say, in terms of the vitamins, is the first thing that comes to mind. But I would say making sure I take care of myself during the day.
Well, you do have 3 kids and a husband that I feel like you're taking care of as well.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
old are your kids?
Oh, you know what? It's totally cheating now because I have 2 that are away at university. So
Oh,
I've
okay.
basically outsourced their care to themselves, which they didn't want. They went kicking and screaming. And my son's like, "How am I supposed to do this?" I was like,
No doubt.
"You know what? Mom's been doing this for 18 years. It's your turn now." And he's doing it.
Okay.
He's styling it out. He's doing great. And my daughter, I never worried about. So I just have one at home and just my husband. So I have a lot more time for myself. So I should be better at taking care of myself.
Well, no, I mean, everyone can take a page out of that one to take care of themselves, especially in January, February. It's a bit more
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah.
Okay, number 8. What's a goal that you're proud of that no one would expect?
Ooh, a goal that I'm proud of. Um, okay. So no one would expect. Okay, so no one would expect. I wanted to do something different this year, and
Okay.
I was researching on what I could do because I just thought, okay, something different that I've wanted to try. Anyways, I looked around and I found a Tai Chi class. Again, so boring, but I dragged my husband along, and we've been doing this Tai Chi class. And I have to say, I was very reluctant, just because the experience I've had with taking my kids to karate or whatever, the sensei has been a little aggressive and maybe not someone I was going to roll into and want to spend time with. But this guy, he's so nice and he's so patient, and everybody is all at the same level. We're all equally as bad and equally unprepared for how you have to position your body and how you have to, it's like such an unnatural position that you have to put yourself in, and I'm so not used to. So it's very different. Like your shoulders are rolled over, but you're not hunched, and then you've got this tucking and leading with your center, and it's a very different practice. And my husband even said, I find myself, I make sure when I'm walking around work that I walk like that, so I can practice it. And I have to say, there's certain things I do that help your posture. And so it is kind of a learning practice. And what I like about it is it's something you can do forever and just keep going with. So yes. So that's my little new secret thing that I'm doing.
Oh, I love that. Tai Chi, add that to the list. Very cool.
I know.
Okay, number 9, we're almost there. What's one goal you had as a writer that surprised you once you reached it?
Oh, I think for me, maybe surprised. Let me see. I wanted to write. So when I left work, I was very good at my job, and I was very excited to be good at my job because I had a big team and I wanted to be good for them and to deliver value, right? And it came very naturally after a time, and I stopped getting feedback in terms of, this is what you can do to be better. And it's very hard to grow when you're not getting feedback. And it's very hard to stay, if you're really good at something, you keep doing it, which is great. But at some point, everything gets boring, right? So when I left work and started to dig in to say, okay, I want to write. And my goal was, I wanted to write good books. I didn't just want to write a book. I wanted to write a good book. Yeah. So the difference between writing a book and writing a good book is a lot of time, a lot of time, and a lot of personal growth in terms of the competencies to be able to tell a story. I could tell you I could do a risk analysis in a PowerPoint. I could, wow you with a competency model, but to actually tell you a story and keep you compelled and keep you engaged with words and being quick and dumping you into the scene, that took a whole lot of learning to do. So I think my goal was that was my goal. Took so long to learn how to do it. And then I think the surprise point for me was when people came back and I thought, okay, I think this is good. But it's such a lonely thing. And I'm sure from an athlete perspective, you have coaches and people that come to you, but it's really your accountability, right? It's your accountability to deliver. It's your accountability to get those tricks right, to get those moves right, to be able to demonstrate your skill, right? So that's you. And that's what it is for a writer, because you have to be able to demonstrate through your words and through your delivery of the story. And that I have people coming to me and saying, I think the surprise is, well, it was my hope, but I'm happily surprised that people come to me and say, it's good. I want it. When's your next one coming? I'm looking forward to it. So I think there's just this extreme sense of achievement of being able to say, okay, my goal was I wanted to write good books, and now people are coming to me saying, okay, when's your next one? Because I really like them. So
isn't that's got to be the most fulfilling part? Like, so cool. Amazing. All right, last question, number 10, same question for all our guests on this series. When a goal feels far away or starts to change, what's the one thing you remind yourself to stay committed to that goal?
Yeah, I think, I learned early on about goals, and it's a funny thing, and it was just something where for a while I was just kind of saying, I'd like to just do this and do that. And this airy-fairy attitude towards something, or this sort of laissez-faire attitude, just doesn't get you where you want to get to. So being able to be quite succinct and quite, diligent with your
Yeah.
goals and making decisions to get to those goals. I think for me, where I give myself a bit of flex is that if it's not working, I change it. It's okay. If I've made a decision to do something and I say, okay, I'm doing it and I'm going to move forward. You know what? That's not working. That's okay. You know what? Rewind what's not working about it. Okay, what's a better decision? And I know you can apply this to all of your sort of athlete world as well.
Yeah.
But without that decision, without that ability to move forward. And I also give myself sort of, you have that long term, this is where I want to get to. But I also say, okay, today I need to get through 6 pages, or I need to get through this scene, or I need to figure out there's this overarching theme in the book that I want to get to. So I feel a daily sense of accomplishment as well. Without the daily sense of accomplishment, I think you can spiral quite quickly and just go, okay, well, it's not getting anywhere. There's no point in doing it, or you can kind of get down on yourself. I remember when I was very young, my great aunt, she was awesome. And she used to have little pieces of material everywhere in her house with like little threads. And I was, what are you doing? And she'd say, oh, I'm working on this quilt. And she'd say, well, 20 minutes here and there. And before you know it, you have a quilt top done. And this lady she pumped those babies out, and they were all done by hand, but she had them everywhere. And so when she had, 20 minutes or whatever, she would sit there and she would sew them and make them. And then and it was true, before she knew it, it would be done. So it's that whole adage of just picking away at it. So that's why I have this long-term goal. If I make mistakes, I adjust my course and just keep at it with daily goals and just keep the momentum going forward and reflect and say, okay, this is what I've done. And okay, that's pretty proud. I'm pretty proud of that, and I pick the most ridiculous things to be proud of. Like, that sentence is awesome. That word is perfect, or that whatever it is. And I try just to keep going, okay, just to keep in that positive mind frame. It's so easy to slip. It's so easy to get down on yourself. It's so easy to say mean words in your head. And the more you can just keep, being excited about small things, the better you're going to be mentally. So that's what I do.
That's true. Thank you. That was the 10 rapid fire questions, and you absolutely crushed it. And we even swayed into goals and everything that we're going to talk about. But I think that's really important. Is I want to take a piece of that is just at the end there, staying positive with yourself, because it is so hard to keep those negative thoughts coming through, being like, I didn't do that well. But like, when you said, oh, maybe I made that one sentence good. What time of day or where in the day would you be like, yeah, I'm pumped on that? Like, is this something that you've channeled daily? Or do you sway? Like, how do you keep the negative out?
How do you keep the negative out? I think there's some, I just keep, I think I know I'm into it. And it's probably, again, I keep thinking back to yourself in terms of being this athlete and thinking that at nighttime I wake up and I'll go, oh, I know what was missing in that scene, or I know what was missing here. And I'll send myself a little text message. In the olden days, you probably wrote a paper or pen beside your bed, but send myself a little text message or a little email. And then I add it in the next day and I go, oh yeah, that works. So I don't think for me, it never stops. And I know that if my brain is working, then I'm good, right? Yeah. It's when I'm not engaged mentally, or when I'm not motivated to keep improving and keep doing it, then I know, okay, I've done something wrong. I haven't been following my little program of being true to myself and going through and getting my goals delivered, because my brain just becomes, it's almost like you turned it down and it's just not interested anymore. Yeah. So I have to keep firing it. If I don't keep firing it, then it's very easy to slip and just be not interested to follow through.
Very cool. Okay, now I want to go back to, you went from business world to writing books in COVID. Yeah. Yes, we had a lot of time in COVID, but I still would assume you had 3 kids at home that probably weren't as busy as usual. And this is the time you decided to write a book. Where did that goal come from? Was it something embedded in you, like in your work world, or did it just like come to fruition? How did this happen?
How did this happen? Okay, so so I, went to school, I went to university, I got a job, and all those responsible things, and it just didn't sit right. Right? Sometimes in your heart that you think, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to work every day. I've got a nice paycheck. I'm going to bake some muffins, and I'm going to freeze some food and move along. And I live this really dull, boring life. And that's when I left to go and do this backpacking trip that I'm writing about now, and just sold everything and just left. And I allowed myself this freedom to be able to say, okay, go and just do it. And then I loved living that way. I loved the freedom. I loved the ability to go where I wanted. And I came back home and I got back into it again. And I thought, oh, I should just get a job. And oh, I should just do this. And I got sucked into what I thought was the right life, right? I got sucked into going to work because I was good at it. I'm sorry, I'm not boastful. I was just really good at what I did, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that time period.
Yeah.
But ironically, one day I went to this coffee shop, and on the little roll-up cup or whatever, it said, "Be careful." Something I can't quote exactly, but it's something like, "Be careful of what you're good at because it could trap you." And I thought, right. And if you're really good at something and you keep doing it, but it might not be the right thing for you. And that's hard, right? That's hard to be good at something and it sucks you in because you get that adrenaline rush and you get that, oh my God, look at that. I just solved another problem. Yes, and the catalyst for change for me was my kids. When I looked around at everything and I had a gardener, I had someone to shovel my driveway, I had a cleaner, I had a nanny, I had someone else running my life. The life I'd always wanted, the kids I'd always wanted, the house I'd always wanted was being enjoyed and run by someone else. And I just looked at them and I went, ooh, okay, this is a moment. This is not a forever thing. They're going to get older. They're going to leave. 2 have already gone. And I don't want to miss this. And it coupled with the time when I stopped loving my job. Every day I would get up, get in the shower, think about all the things I was going to do today, run off to work. And I stopped doing that. And then I started realizing what I was missing at home. So that was my formula to be able to say, okay, I'm going to leave. Mm-hmm. And I kind of ducked out slow. I did some consulting in the same field and thought, okay, because when you leave, it was kind of like an early retirement, from that, if you will.
Yeah.
It's that you have to break up with the that rush of achievement, right? Mm-hmm. It's so hard to leave that behind when you have that endorphins from doing something good, to delivering value, and to working with a really cohesive team and having this really good experience, to leaving that and just like closing the door on that.
Right.
And
you've got to grieve it almost.
You do. It's so hard to leave that behind, and it's so hard to step away. And I'm sure folks that retire have the same thing in terms of, okay, I'm gonna love my life. I'm gonna, do all these things I wanted to do. But it's so hard to reframe yourself and to be able to say, okay, I'm going to be satisfied with this new setup that I've got, but it delivers such different things. It was so nice to be home with my kids, and it was so nice to be in my house, but I still had to do all the stuff that I'd hired people to do. And so it was a completely, I had to find new things to get that same feeling from, and to be able to say, okay, How am I going to fill this part? I got all the other things I wanted, but this rush, this sense of accomplishment, this ability to feel proud of myself for what I've done. As a person, as an individual contributor to the world, I am proud of myself for what I've done. And you have to find something that does that for you. And that's where I was doing, random pieces of work for various organizations around town, helping them with their culture, helping them with, reframing things within their organization. But it was still just more of the same. It wasn't, it didn't change for me. And when I looked at writing, and I'd always wanted to try it, and I thought, I'm not very good at it. I need to learn how to do it. And then it goes back to that rush of learning something new. Gosh, learning something new is such a thrill. And I, again, such a nerd, but I am so excited to learn something new and to be able to say, I was so bad at this when I started, and now look where I am. And to be able to show your progress and to be able to find something that you just keep getting better and better at as you go. And it's a kind of craft that you can keep improving on as you learn. So that was sort of my journey.
No, okay, I love it. So trying something new, obviously, you're a very curious person. How just like, I can't comprehend writing a book. Like, where did you, yes, you went back. I've read your first book, Finding Color. You went backpacking. So you had all these stories. Were they in a journal? Did you pull from something, or did you just come from memory? And was this always going to be a book?
Yeah, I had hoped. Hoped that it was going to be something. I think not when I first left, because I was just writing in my journal. But after I probably had gotten to the stage of around the third book, I thought, there's a lot of stuff happening here, and this would be really funny to share. So it was always something that I thought, okay, I would like to share this story in a way that is compelling and would have people experience. So again, you have goals for what you want to share. I wanted to share the experience, and I wanted people to know the time period, the experience, and what it was like before you had your phone. Like, I don't know about you, but I go on holiday now and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat lunch here. And then I'm going to go to this museum from 1 to 2. And then I'm going to go here from 3 to 4. And so I have everything itinerary diarized, then there was none of that. I didn't even know what anything looked like if I hadn't, I thought I read in my little Lonely Planet, that's an interesting thing to see. Okay, we're going to go. So it was a different approach to it. It was a different way. Everything was just different. Even your connection with home. So your homesickness was different, because I think now if you travel, I can FaceTime. I can stay connected with whoever. Your long distance relationships are so different now because of the technology that we have. But then long distance relationships were all based around that coveted, very expensive long distance phone call and, postcards and letters. So it's such a different experience it adds another layer to the experience, because you are so much more alone then when you would travel than you are now, because you can be connected a lot easier.
Yeah, that's so true. It's a little blast from the past, really.
Yes. So I wanted people to experience that and to be able to say, okay, here, just, go and read this book. So for me, that's what they are. That's
okay.
And it wasn't always there. And it was an easy way for me to start to learn the craft. After I finished these 5, I definitely want to keep writing. I don't know. I like a gritty mystery. So maybe I'll see if I can tackle my head around that. Be a nice challenge, right?
Cool.
So, but I wanted to be able to practice here and to learn how in this space with a story that I have in my head.
It's so cool.
and
I mean,
paper.
your journey is amazing, and it is really fun to follow. So definitely go out and read her books. The first one's Finding Color. The second one, Life Strikes Back. The third one, Hello, I Am Here. And then you've got two more on the way.
Mhm.
Beautifully Wrapped and Landing Place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I just want to go back to goals again with like
Yeah.
setting timelines for writing a
Yeah.
book. When you were
Yes.
in COVID, did you have a timeline, or was this just like for fun?
Yeah, I didn't have a timeline because I had a goal. So my timeline was a
Ooh,
goal rather than, right?
I
So
love it.
so
I
that,
love
right? So my goal was not, because I knew there was going to be 5 books, because I was able to sort of lay them out structurally to be able to
Oh,
say,
okay.
because I think that was, I've always been very good at structure. So that's something I was able to pull from my old life in terms of structure and breaking down and saying, okay, this is going to go into this book, this will be in this book. So I was able to sort of lay them out that way. So that's kind of the first step, right? And then to be able to tackle each one in its own sort of thing. So I wanted each book to be able to, if you wanted to just read one, then you could, you know?
Yeah.
So when I started writing, I didn't know what I was doing. So I just gave myself the liberty to be able to do it. And I
Okay.
wrote it. I wrote the first book, the first draft of the book, and I thought, that's really good. And then I had to find someone to read it who I trusted. So I used, again, my old skills and interviewed people to find someone who understand my goal was to be able to tell the story in a way that you experienced and the time period. And then, because I talked to a couple people who said, oh, you know what you should do. And I was like, next person. Oh, you know what you should do. So I had a structural goal that I was not going to flex on, but I was more than willing to learn how to rewrite and make it better. But I wanted it to be like in this structure, but how it sort of pulled together. And that's where I needed the help. So I found the person who was willing to help me within my box, which is important because for me, I wasn't going to compromise on that. It's easy to roll and say, oh, okay, well, this person will do. No, they weren't, because they weren't going to help me get to my goal, right? My goal was, this was the structure, I needed help in between. So I found the right person who then told me, okay, so it's not that great. And I know, but that was the best part. So I finally got the feedback I wanted. So it was a very humbling conversation. I have to say the person who helped me was completely lovely, because she said, look, we need to focus on writing skills, like competencies of writing. So the story was fine. She didn't have any problems with that. She just said, this is how. So I rewrote it again and again, and then had feedback again and again. Took 3 times before I got it right. Because again, my other goal was to make sure that I didn't want to have 5 books out and the first one to be okay, second one, and then the 5th one, people are like, wow, that's such a good book. I wanted them to be, roughly in the same level of competency. I didn't want someone to be turned off because maybe the writing was so terrible in the first book, and then, but you should read the 5th one. That one's really good. So I didn't have a time goal. I had a goal of sort of competency and level of skill that I wanted to deliver. So unfortunately, that took way longer than I ever anticipated. I was pretty much like Jack from The Shining, sitting there typing away, redoing. And my husband, I think it was a very difficult time period for us, because he kept coming in and trying to read over my shoulder and go, what have you, I'm like, don't look at my screen. I'm not ready to.
You're not helping.
Because he'll go, oh, you got a comma in the wrong place, or, and it's not helping me. Yeah. So I think the 2 years, because it took me 2 years to figure out how to, maybe even longer, how to write that first book was very difficult, because my husband is very tangible. So for him, not having something in his hand that he could say, here's the book, he didn't understand the learning that I had to go through. So once I got to a place where the book was printed and organized. It finally landed for him. But that space between that learning space where I had to give myself the time to learn to do it was not an easy time period for
sure.
us as a couple, because he just didn't get it. And he's like, you left this job, which was really good, and you're making this much money, and now you're just sitting at your computer. And he couldn't see it. He couldn't
hold it.
So
yeah.
it didn't make sense to him. So that learning space was really hard for us. Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. I can see that. But also, like, at the same time, wouldn't it also be challenging for you to have all of this? Because we don't have typewriters now. It's all in your computer. And like, you're like, I've done this many pages, but also it's hard to see and feel because I'm just working on this one page at this one time.
Yes, over and over again, because I'm doing it wrong. Yes, I know. And to be able, and so the interesting part again was that once once feedback started coming in, then I could feel that, okay, I can do those. Okay, have I got that? And I would keep applying it as I reworked the material. I went back and got more feedback, like more advanced, if you will. Like the first was the beginner feedback, and then you got the more advanced, and then more intermediate, and then the advanced feedback. And then I finally got feedback on the story in terms of how to make the story better. And I thought, okay, I've mastered, or not mastered, but I have a adequate competency in terms of being able to tell a story adequately. Now you're giving me feedback on the actual story that I'm trying to tell. Okay, this is good. So if I keep applying all of those learnings and, and make my story better, then I'm going to get there. But it was a long slog. And I think I'm just very stubborn and I thought, well, at this point, I didn't want to go back to work because I wanted to write this stupid book. And I thought, I'm in it. Like I'm not giving up. There's a certain amount of pig-headed stubbornness. It has to go along with delivering on your goals, because if you're not committed to those babies and and I knew it wasn't something, it wasn't a far out there bad goal. It was something I really wanted to do. And I felt that there was something here that I could deliver that would be different, interesting, my time to get through in that first one was really, I think, not only my own. I was excited because I got feedback. I was learning. It was my husband hanging around going, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing every day? And I'm like, please just have faith, and I'd share my feedback with him, but he couldn't. It was so different from what he was doing. He just didn't connect. He's like, this doesn't make any sense. Fine.
He's in your court, but he's like half in your court.
yes, he was as supportive as he could have been. But once I got the first book out, then he was all on board. He was my biggest advocate. And now it's easier. But that time period, and I encourage anyone who's making a change in their life and has to, reframe, and whether it's you have to live on less, or you have to, spend more time, or it's harder on your body, or whatever it is, there is that time period where it's quiet. You think about Rocky, when he was, living in his crap ass apartment and working so hard, but that was the time period, right? That was his learning. That was his time where he was putting the hours in and really developing himself. And you have to do that.
That's so amazing. I feel like I just got so much information from you that was just wonderful. And I'm not skimping that it took you 2 years to write the first book. So I am curious, with the second book and the third book, how much quicker was that process?
It was much quicker. I just had quite a few family things going on, so I had to fit that into it. But it takes about 6 months for me. If I'm treating it like a job and doing it every day, which I do, and I say, okay, I have so many pages to do, and you can just basically calculate the pages and say, okay, if I do 6 pages a day, times blah, blah, and then just go through. And then there is all the review time period and stuff. So I definitely get faster. And you still have those those frustrating times, like I was just working on a scene before, and I thought, oh, what is wrong with this? Something's wrong, and it's really interesting. It's quite fun. Again, nerdy side here, but
I'm so into the nerdy side. I'm into it.
I just thought something is wrong. Like, why isn't this what? And you have that feeling inside. You're like, okay, not liking this, and whether is it the scene? Is it? And it's fascinating how you can try to go back and fit something into a box, right? And say, okay, this has to be here, shove, and maybe it doesn't.
Back to the drawing board.
Maybe you just need to take it out. And
that's got to be hard.
It is, but you know what? It's fascinating how much, if you actually take it out, how much better it is.
Yeah.
And it's this most wonderful thing that you can apply to your life. If you keep trying to do something over and over again and going, this has got to work. And you know what? It's not working. Just take it out. Just give yourself the freedom to take it out. And you know what? Save a version or whatever it is, or keep it in a box, whatever you need to do, take it away and see if it's better. And it's fascinating. Fascinating. Yeah.
Mm. Oh my gosh. I love the world of books. Last year, my goal was to read 100 books, and I did it. And so I'm just like, I'm in it. I'm in your world, but I'm not writing books. But yet, I don't know. Who knows?
Yes.
But thank you so much. I just want to grab a couple takeaways that I took from this, which I took a lot. But a couple words that come to mind with your goals and your journey is curiosity. You were curious, and then you were ready to grow a little bit more. And it's not an adventure writing your own books. So you were looking for adventure, something new, something different. I really like the piece about finding someone that you trusted and vetting people through the process of feedback, because there are people. I'm gonna have a guest, Chandra Crawford, on. She asked for feedback on her speaking engagement, and a lot of people were like, yeah, it's great. And I was here like, well, okay, let's work on this. Like, let's pull this apart. So I think having those people in your court are invaluable, just like so very important, and obviously a huge part of your process.
Absolutely.
Having the vulnerability to actually do that and say, I don't want just yes people, and I don't want just like no people, to find that perfect person. I think that's so important. And I will agree with you that once you have a goal, and when I have a goal, I'm very stubborn. And I appreciate and respect that stubbornness, because you wouldn't have 5 books if you weren't. So just having that grit and perseverance to get through it and get that goal achieved is absolutely so huge. So those were just a couple of the words that I pulled from our discussion today. Do you have anything else that the listeners and viewers might take away from your story and your journey?
I really like the one where you find the right person when you're ready. Don't rush yourself, right? So when you're ready, find the right person, and don't be scared to knock people back if they don't really believe in your vision. And I always try to find my opposite. Even when I was at work, I would always find someone who was really good at something I wasn't. And someone told me something one time, probably about 15 years ago, and I said, my development this year is to get really good at, and she just looked at me and went, why do you want to get good at that? And I went, well, shouldn't, and she goes, Candace, do you like doing that? And I went, no. And she said, well, I do that for you. Why do you have to be good at it? And I thought, well, that's a good point. So you don't have to be good at everything. If you like stuff and you're good at those things, there is the danger, like I said, about being good at things you don't like. But if you're really passionate about something, you don't have to be good at everything, but you do have to trust what you're not good at and find the folks who are, and then surround yourself with them.
That That's so a lot of people try and chew off too much than they can. And so that's
Why?
really, really good advice.
Don't bother. You know what? Someone else is really good at that and they want to do it, so be with them,
So good.
be with them.
So
Yeah.
good. All right, Candace, thank you so much for dropping in. Where can people find you online? And also, where can they find your 3 books that are out right now?
Yes. Online, it's CandaceMacPhie.com, and there's links to all of my books on there. I am on Amazon and Kobo and Apple for electronic, but the print copies are all on Amazon. Anyways, easiest way is to get them through the link on my webpage.
Awesome. Thank you so much for dropping in today.
Thank you. I had a great time.
Thanks so much for dropping in today. You can find everything you want to know about Dropping In with Mercedes at droppinginwithmercedes.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks DJ Kenosis for the music and my mom for the intro voice.